All of them. How is it possible? Your ability to tell a story. Look, I'm going to do something with you that my English teacher did with me. I don't remember a lot in undergrad school, but I do remember this. And folks, when it's over with, you will not forget it either. How many of you have white refrigerators at home? Now, those of you who've heard me say this before, you can kind of blank out at this point. How many of you have white refrigerators at home? Yellow, brown, green, gray. Did I get everybody's refrigerator? Well, go to yours. You got it. Go to that one. And I want you to walk into the room where you see that refrigerator. I don't want you to walk up to it and open the door. And as you open the door, notice that cool breeze that hits you. The light comes on. There is a lemon inside of that refrigerator. It is the biggest lemon you've ever seen. I want you to take one hand and pull that lemon out. Your hand sort of drops as you pull it out. Notice the rough texture. Notice the clang and cling of the utensils. Pull out that sharp knife. Start to slice that lemon on the top in a sawing motion, like a saw. Slice it in the middle. Notice the juices started to come out, and you turn your head because of the smell. Cut it in two, and I want you to take the side of the lemon that has the seed in it, that side. Squeeze it slow until the juices now go over your hand. Take that side of the lemon, put it in your mouth and bite it. Boy, if you could see some of the frowning faces I see here. You know what, when I was 19 years old, I knew that it was dangerous what my teacher had just done. It was dangerous. It wasn't just an episode, it was dangerous. And I don't have a lot of time, but could anybody just holler out, why do you think it was dangerous? I knew it at 19. Why was it just dangerous? Right? Some of you, I know right now, let me tell you the power of a storyteller. I can tell a story that put this room in complete silence. I knew that if my teacher could walk in and make me frown up and taste the bitterness of a lemon in my mouth, and all she was doing was talking, she was powerful. And I knew early then that people who could use words, and they could walk into a room, and they could make you taste a lemon, can make you hot right now with words, and then can turn around and make you cold, make you dizzy right now with words. But what I didn't understand is how they were using words. And the words were being used in a sense of a sensory. Mr. Lanier was talking about long-term, short-term memory. I could tell a story where you will never forget it. And I don't have a PowerPoint. You will never forget it because I can anchor it into your feelings. And that's what happens when the powerful storyteller tells a story. They're telling a story using all of your senses. Ted Sorensen, who was a speechwriter for John Kennedy, said 1960 election between Kennedy and Nixon was the first time in American history where words became less powerful than images. Images, much more powerful than words. And what a storyteller can do is create images internally. And I wonder, well, how can that help me in a trial? But first of all, I always start off knowing something from the start, that my jurors are conditioned by television before they get here. Now, how many of you think you're conditioned? Can I see your hands? By television. Some people don't believe it. But I'm a lawyer, I don't say nothing if I can't prove it. Watch this. Somebody finish it for me. That was a cigarette commercial, and it started off something like this. I will walk a mile for a Winston, tastes good. All right. Everybody who said they've got to be quite old because you haven't heard that commercial in 40 years. Kind of shocking. 40, folks. 40 years you haven't heard that commercial. We talked about putting an image in your mind that you can't forget. That's what the advertisers do. Here's the one that gets me. How do you spell relief? I spell it R-O-L-A-I-D-S every day of the week. Condition, yeah. So we start off with a jury that's already conditioned to what? Find your client guilty. Let's just start off with that. Okay? But let's start off with this. Because once again, I couldn't separate final argument from opening statement, jury selection. Let me show you an example of how those words like the lemon story affects us in a trial. Now, can I see the hands of those who've tried real tough cases? I mean, ag robberies, murders, and stuff like where the jury despises your client. Okay. All right, now watch this. Mike Haskell is a nice young man. He's intelligent, rich, charismatic. Everybody loves Mike Haskell. He's my client. But the jury charge, the indictment has not been read. And when Judge Belinda Hill reached the indictment, she said, Mr. Haskell is charged with aggravated sexual assault of a 6-year-old. I'll say that again. Aggravated sexual assault of a 6-year-old. And if you've ever tried a case, you know there's a change in the atmosphere of the room. Now, and I don't have time because I'm always pushing for time, but there's something that happened on the visceral part of you. It's not up here that you're using. See, what's some of the words some of the feelings? Just say it real loud for me, folks. Pervert, right? What else? Child abuse, what else? Sickening, what else? Dangerous. Okay, we're going to stop there. The defense lawyer can only take so much, right? But those are the words, folks, that people are not thinking, but they're feeling in their guts. And if we don't acknowledge that early, it doesn't matter what your final argument is. We have to acknowledge the atmosphere in a room once those words hit the jury. What do we do? Well, I saw the great lawyers would tell stories. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I don't pick up my daughter from school very often, but I had to one day. I had to take her to the dentist. And when I went to go to that school, she was in elementary school, I went to pick her up. They would not let me take her out of the room. Well, I gave them all types of ID. Every type of identification I could, I gave it to them, but they would not let me take her out of the room. And it wasn't until my daughter came down the hallway and said, yeah, that's my dad, that they let me take her. I didn't get mad at those folks. And I didn't get mad at you. And also all the ladies who leaned back when you heard what my client, Mike Haskell, was charged with. We are a society that protect our women and our children. And there's nothing worse than this type of case, except one thing: an innocent person being charged with this type of case. And you pause because you want to listen to the jury and you want them to feel it. And usually when I do this presentation, I get feedback from the audience, but I'm running out of time, so I'm not. But I know the atmosphere's changed. I know something has changed. And in a few minutes to tell that story, it didn't change up here, but it changed here, in the gut, where people really make decisions Well, Tyrone,